Proverbs 2:21. Ki yesharim yishkenu aretz, utemimim yivataru va. So here we get verse 21 today. We begin with this key, and it comes out of verse 20 as a ground clause. We have for the upright. You might notice the root here, yashar, to be upright or right, straight. Think about a straight line. I can't draw a straight line, so that's a crooked line. Don't pay attention to that. But a straight line is right. It's correct, that kind of thing. So here we have the upright, and with the plural ending here, we get this substantival, the upright ones. But the upright, they will dwell the land. Now, you might notice the verb here, shakan. So that's the verbal root we're dealing with. We've got a call imperfect third masculine plural. Notice the yod preformative and the shurik sufformative. So this gives us third masculine, and then the shurik sufformative gives us plural, third masculine plural. So I usually will tell students to think in terms of preformatives and sufformatives on verbs in order to get those distinguishing marks that are around the root, something like that. So shakan, you might know the Shekinah glory of God, or the dwelling presence of God, something like that. And you notice when I translated this, for the upright, they will dwell the land. We kind of feel like we're missing a preposition. Maybe we need a bait or something like that. They will dwell in the land. And I think that probably is the right way to think about it. But another way to put this into English then is they will inhabit the land, something of that nature. Now, you might also notice land here as an important feature of the Abrahamic covenant. And so in some sense, I think that you've got this idea of righteousness or uprightness, upright living as a result of God's grace in your life will be evidence of the fulfillment of God's covenant promises. So in other words, it's not that you're earning the right to the land by being upright. Instead, that land is a covenant promise of God, as is the uprightness that comes from grace by faith. And so I think this is an interesting use of the word land here if we think about it in terms of the promises given to Abraham. So it's another way that we think about Proverbs is it's not just a separated set of wisdom literature, but Proverbs is read within a covenantal, canonical context. And so I think that's where some things like this can be really helpful to us. Next we get and in parallel to the upright, we have the complete. So the verbal root that this word is built from is tamam. Now, that means to be complete. This is not a verb. It's an adjective, but it's, again, functioning as a substantive, the complete ones. And the idea here is morally blameless. Blameless, upright. Similar kinds of ideas. You can see the parallelism here. But blameless is that idea. Now, in Andrew Steinman's commentary, the Concordia commentary series, he traces this word throughout the Proverbs a little bit in order to give us some more context. And I have those verses here. Here we have Proverbs 11:5. You can see the word tamim here, the blameless translated. So the righteousness of the blameless keeps his way straight. You might notice this same verbal root here as we saw in verse 21. Notice here, yashar, right? So yashar keeps his way straight. And so in verse 21, it seems like that the righteousness will make one blameless, or uprightness is what gives you the land. But in verse 11:5, Proverbs 11:5, it is the blamelessness that will cause you to keep your way straight. So it's kind of this circular pattern here in Proverbs of how all of the uprightness and straightness and blamelessness and wisdom and fear of the Lord and godliness, all of this kind of swirls around this big picture of what it means to live according to the covenant with the Lord. So there's 11:5. Here's another one that Steinman gives, 28:10. You can see the word here, utemimim again. But the blameless will have a goodly inheritance. That's the ESV, a fun little translation there. If you notice up here, it will be, and the upright, or sorry, and the blameless, they will inherit good. Just straight up tov, they will inherit. I appreciate the ESV, but that seems to give a bit more pop to just something like a goodly inheritance. Like, okay, a goodly inheritance is nice, but to just inherit flat out good from a good Lord, that has some pop to it, in my opinion. Here's another one from Steinman, 28:18. You can see the word here again, tamim, whoever walks in integrity. Notice how it's translated there. So blamelessness, integrity, upright moral character is what we have here in this word. So if we bounce back to 2:21, where we are today, here's our word, temimim, and those with integrity, those who are upright, they will remain left over in it. Notice the it here is third feminine singular, I think referring back to the land, and you can see the parallel ideas here. Also, I'm getting so many marks, it's hard to see that, but I hope that you can. Let's go back and look at this verb for a second. The verbal root is yatar, and this is a nifal imperfect third masculine plural. Again, here is our third masculine yod preformative. Here is our plural shurik sopformative. And the nifal, notice yatar is a one vav yod, and this is one of those cases where the dagesh here in this one vav nails down the one vav so that it doesn't contract in any way. And so you see that one vav there clearly displayed, which is evidence that these one yod verbs in the lexicon, that yod is just a placeholder for what may be an original one vav. And so there it is, nifal imperfect third masculine plural. And so here we have today for the upright, they will inhabit the land, and the blameless ones, they will be left over in it. They will remain in it.